Democracy gives wings to the wingless, cautioning us all the while that howsoever high or wide a flight may be, we must remain connected to the ground. For giving me this opportunity, I am grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh ji and the UPA Chairperson Srimati Sonia Gandhi, and pay my homage to the sacred memory of Shri Rajiv Gandhi, who introduced me to the portals of the highest temple of Indian democracy. Madam Speaker, as I proceed, my thoughts go to a particularly severe cold spell during the recent winter, when it was snowing heavily in Kashmir Valley, and suspension of road and air services had brought life to a grinding halt. Photographs appearing in newspapers showing a train covered with snow emerging from a similar background, carrying passengers, traveling over the recently commissioned Kozhikode Baramulla section, instilled in me a sense of immense pride. I recall here the inspirational words of Christine Weatherly. When you travel on the railway and the line goes up a hill, just listen to the engine as it pulls you with a will. Though it goes very slowly, it sings this little song, I think I can, I think I can, and so it goes along. This is the strength of this organization, supported by determination, commitment, and dedication to duty, demonstrated by each member of the 14 lakh strong Rail Parivar. Indian Railways is a vital organization playing an unparalleled role in integrating the nation. From Baramulla in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, Dwarka in the west to Lido in the east, trains of Bharatiya Rail always on the move, carrying people and material, creating opportunities and fostering development is the single most important catalyst in the growth story of our great nation. Ma'am, I've hardly completed 4 months with railways, but it is a great feeling indeed to find myself identifying with the stupendous task assigned by the people of India to the railways. In these few months, I've been overwhelmed by demands for new projects, new trains, and varied suggestions for improving the services reflecting aspirations of the people of India. While railways undoubtedly contribute significantly to the growth, progress and development of the country and is a powerful vehicle for mainstreaming remotest corners of the nation, the growth of railways itself is inextricably linked with the overall growth of the country. Ma'am, I wish to share with this august House some of the concerns that railways are faced with today. Indian Railways must remain financially sustainable so that resources generated can be plowed back for efficient upkeep, operation and maintenance of the system itself for the benefit of the rail users. Major segments of its business, freight, as well as passenger need, therefore, to be based on sound economic principles and provide value for money to all customers. This august House is aware that the growth of this crucial transport sector has not always conformed to these principles. Steep increase in input costs had to be met primarily through adjustment in freight rates. As a result, the ability of the railways to generate enough resources to meet its operational expenditure, as well as investment in crucial planned activities such as enhancing safety, throughput capacity, users' amenities, etc. suffered. The number of passenger trains has increased from 8,897 in 2001-2 to 12,335 in 2011-12. Yet, the losses on these operations continue to mount, increasing from rupees 4,955 crores in 2001 to rupees 22,500 crore in 2011-12, and is estimated to be rupees 24,600 crores in 2012-13. This has also resulted in deterioration of services extended to our esteemed passengers. Mounting scarcity of resources continues to stare us in the face. Thin spread of funds has only compounded the problem. In fact, I find that many of the projects which would help railways in debottlenecking and decongesting its oversaturated network are not getting funded in a time-bound manner. During the 11th plan, railways could meet the target of new lines and electrification, but fell short of the target for doubling and gauge conversion, achieving only 2,758 kilometers and 5,321 kilometers respectively. Considering the vastness of our country and taking into account the large areas still aspiring for rail connectivity, the targets need to be much higher. And the rail network has to be expanded at a much faster pace than has been possible till now. Planning Commission has tentatively pegged the Railways 12th plan at rupees 5.19 lakh crores with a gross budgetary support of 1.94 lakh crore, internal resources of 1.05 lakh crore, market borrowing of 1.20 lakh crore, with another rupees 1 lakh crore expected to be raised through the public-private partnership route. The internal resource target, which is 1.6 times that of 11th plan, also appears to be a tall order, as we could allocate only rupees 10,000 crore in the first year of the 12th plan. The onerous task of raising the balance amount of rupees 95,000 crore in the next 4 years calls for a paradigm shift in our approach to tariff and non-tariff segments of earnings. Ma'am, the railway family is deeply grieved over the most unfortunate and tragic incident which occurred at Allahabad station during the ongoing Holy Kumbh. I am particularly pained that such an incident happened despite the most meticulous planning and efforts put in by the railways to take care of the comforts, safety and other requirements of the pilgrims. The incident has shaken us, and we would strive to build in a higher level of contingency margin in our future planning. Madam Speaker, railway passengers deserve safe and comfortable travel. Safety is a necessary mandate for running trains. With the untiring endeavor of the railway family to address human failure and technical deficiencies, there has been a significant reduction in the incidence of rail accidents. Even though the volume of passenger and freight traffic increased manifold, the number of consequential train accidents per million train kilometer has decreased from 0.41 in 2003-04 to 0.13 at the end of 2011-12. The target of bringing this figure to 0.17 by 2012-13, stipulated under the corporate safety plan introduced in 2003, was surpassed in the year 2011-12 itself. We will strive to work towards a zero accident situation. The committees headed by Dr. Anil Kakodkar and Shri Sam Pitroda have laid down a roadmap for improving safety and bringing about modernization of railways. While some of the recommendations of the two committees have been taken up for implementation, the rest are under active consideration of the ministry. A disquieting issue which weighs my mind down is accidents at level crossings. 40% of the consequential accidents and 60% of the fatalities are accounted for by level crossings. While railways regularly undertake awareness drives, a permanent solution lies only in eliminating the crossings. Railway Safety Fund, set up to finance safety works at level crossings, has been very useful, but is proving to be inadequate. Railways' annual share from the central Road Fund is only rupees 1,100 crore against a requirement of almost rupees 5,000 crore, meeting estimated requirement of nearly rupees 37,000 crores at present-day cost for eliminating 31,846 level crossings, out of which 13,530 are unmanned, would only be possible with an enhanced support from the Central Road Fund. Ma'am, some of the measures taken or proposed to be taken to strengthen safe operations of trains are: 1. Elimination of 10,797 level crossings during the 12th plan and not adding any new level crossing henceforth. 2. Continued thrust on improved signaling for not only ensuring much better safety for train operations, but also enhancing the track capacity. 3. Introduction of Train Protection Warning System, TPWS, on automatic signaling systems. 4. Following successful completion of initial testing, the indigenously developed Train Collision Avoidance System, TCAS, is proposed to be put to rigorous trials to validate the technology under complex operational conditions. 5. Upgradation of track structure using 60 kg rails, 260-meter long welded rail panels, and improved flash butt welding technology. 6. Induction of self-propelled accident relief trains, SPART, with speed potential of 160 to 200 kilometers per hour on trial basis, with a view to putting in place a fast and reliable disaster management system. 7. Progressive induction of crash-worthy LHB coaches having anti-climb feature. 8. 17 bridges which have been identified as distressed have been sanctioned for rehabilitation to be completed over next 1 year. Ma'am, accidents caused due to fire, even though very infrequent, have been a major cause of concern. Some of the measures taken include provision of comprehensive fire and smoke detection system on pilot basis, provision of portable fire extinguishers in guard-cum-brake vans, AC coaches and pantry cars in all trains, enhanced use of fire retardant furnishing materials in coaches, and social awareness campaigns for observance of safety practices. With a view to provide long-term perspective and focused attention for enhancing safety, I propose to initiate an exercise for making corporate safety plan for a 10-year period from 2014 to 24. The railway family is deeply grieved by some incidents of deaths of elephants on railway tracks passing through forest areas. Several measures have been initiated in consultation with the Ministry of Environment and Forests, which I am confident will substantially reduce such accidents and safeguard the lives of these gentle giants. To strengthen the security of rail passengers, especially women passengers, railways have already created 4 companies of women RPF personnel, and another 8 would be set up. Recruitment to RPF is being conducted with 10% vacancies reserved for women. The presence of women RPF personnel will be further strengthened with field units. Many trains are being escorted by government railway police and railway protection force in sensitive sections. Further, the ladies' special local trains in metropolitan cities are being escorted by lady RPF staff. Security helpline numbers have been made available on a few zonal railways to facilitate passengers in reporting any untoward incident for immediate intervention. The widespread disappointment of the travelling public with the state of cleanliness and hygiene at stations and trains, bedrolls and catering has often been highlighted in this august house. As a frequent rail traveler, I have experienced this personally. A resource constraint cannot be a reason for substandard services, and efforts need to be directed for providing quality facilities to rail users. I am committed, ma'am, to bring about a marked change in the level of passenger amenities. It is our firm belief that railways' efforts towards introducing new trains or extending the run-off or frequency of existing trains should not be at the cost of amenities for passengers and safety. सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं. मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए. Some of the measures taken or proposed to be taken for improving passengers' travel experience are as follows. Identification of 104 stations, serving a population of more than 1 million of those, serving places of religious or tourist importance, or immediate attention to all aspects related to cleanliness. Progressive extension of bio-toilets on trains. Provision of concrete aprons on platforms with mechanized cleaning facilities. 200 stations have already been covered under this scheme. Extension of on-board housekeeping scheme and clean train stations to more stations and trains. Putting up of 6 more rail near bottling plants at Vijayawada, Nagpur, Lalitpur, Bilaspur, Jaipur and Ahmedabad. Launching of a pilot project on select trains to facilitate passengers to contact on-board staff through SMS, phone call or email for prompt response for coach cleanliness and also to provide real-time feedback. Setting up of 8 to 10 more mechanized laundries for quality washing of linen. Provision of announcement facility and electronic display boards in trains for disseminating on-board passenger information on approaching trains, train running, arrival platform, etc. Providing free Wi-Fi facility on several trains. Upgrading another 60 stations as Adarsh stations in addition to 980 already selected. Associate voluntary organizations for providing first aid services, etc. at railway stations. Ma'am, I recognize the need for special attention to stations in the National Capital Region. Development of directional terminals began some years back with opening of Anand Vihar station. Studies for terminal at Brij Basan will be taken up during the year. Further, to augment infrastructure and revamp the facilities at Delhi, New Delhi and Hazrat Nizamuddin, works costing rupees 100 crores have been taken up. With increasing popularity of Shatabdi and Rajdhani trains, there is also a demand for higher travel comfort. Responding to this need, to begin with, Indian Railways will introduce one such coach in select trains which will provide an excellent ambience and latest modern facilities and services. Such coaches will be named Anubhuti with commensurate fare structure. Amenities for differently abled passengers. Madam Speaker, India is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of Disabled. We are conscious of our responsibility under the Millennium Development Goals to facilitate the boarding of trains and exit from the stations for the differently abled and elderly. Steps proposed include provision of 179 escalators and 400 lifts at A1 and other major stations, affixing braille stickers indicating the layout of coaches, including toilets, provision of wheelchairs and battery-operated vehicles at more stations, and making coaches wheelchair-friendly. In order to provide an employment avenue to the disabled people, I propose to reserve a specified number of JTBSs for them, keeping in view the fact that PCOs at stations have become largely redundant after the mobile revolution in India. Initiatives for passenger benefits. To harness technology in myriad forms for bringing about improvement in the lives of our people was the visionary plan of Shri Rajiv Gandhi. He was the trailblazer of IT revolution in the country. It has helped Indian Railways and crores of passengers in many ways. Today, I look forward expectantly to the use of Aadhaar scheme by the Indian Railways. The database generated can be extensively and efficiently used by railways, not only to render more user-friendly services, such as booking of tickets, validation of genuine passengers with GPS-enabled handheld gadgets in trains, but also to provide a better interface with its employees in regard to their salaries, pension, allowances, etc. I have had some discussion on the potential applications of Aadhaar with Shri Nandan Nilekani. I plan to roll out a more efficient and people-sensitive railway service system. Some of the measures initiated or afoot are extending availability of the facility of internet booking from 12:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., making e-ticketing possible through mobile phones. As a follow-up to overwhelming response to the Indian Railways website and integrated train inquiry service under 193, a project of SMS alerts to passengers providing updates on reservation status is being rolled out shortly. Covering large number of trains under real-time information system, whereby rail users will be able to access information through nominated websites and mobile phones. Ma'am, I often get to hear that congestion at the IRCTC website causes inordinate delay in accessing the system for e-ticketing. By the end of this calendar year, we will put in place a next generation e-ticketing system which will bring about a paradigm shift in internet rail ticketing by significantly improving the end user experience in respect of ease of use, response time, as well as capacity. The system shall be able to support 7,200 tickets per minute as against 2,000 tickets per minute today. It will support 1,20,000 simultaneous users at any point in time against the present capacity of 40,000 users, with capability to easily scale up as demand increases in future. The system will make use of advanced fraud control and security management tools, thereby further improving transparency in sale of tickets. Madam Speaker, I believe rail travel must be inextricably linked with good quality, hygienic and affordable food, catering to all classes of passengers. For effective quality control, arrangements are being tied up with food testing laboratories in addition to third-party audit. State-of-the-art base kitchens are proposed to be set up in railway premises for better monitoring of quality of meals. ISO certification will now be insisted upon for all base kitchens. A centralized catering service monitoring cell with a toll-free number 1800-111-321 has started functioning with effect from 18th January 2013 to facilitate redressal of complaints, suggestions on real-time basis. Railways form a popular mode of travel. both for domestic and foreign tourists. To make the experience of tourists more pleasant, the following steps are envisaged. Following popularity of Executive Lounge at New Delhi, setting up of such facility at 7 more stations, namely Bilaspur, Visakhapatnam, Patna, Nagpur, Agra, Jaipur and Bengaluru. Launching of a multimodal travel package with cooperation of State Government of Jammu and Kashmir, enabling passengers to travel from Jammu through Udhampur, Kozhikode to Srinagar and Baramulla on a common rail bus ticket. With the commissioning of railway line to Katra very soon, feasibility of issuing Yatri Parchis to pilgrims travelling by rail at the time of booking of the railway ticket is being explored in coordination with Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board. The role of Indian Railways in unification of the country during the freedom struggle is historical. I propose to run an educational tourist train called Azadi Express to enable our youth to travel to important places connected with the freedom movement. The train will be made attractive and affordable through concessional fares. Freight. Ma'am, freight traffic has been the mainstay of internal resource generation on the Indian Railways. I am happy to inform this August House that this year the Railways is set to achieve the milestone of entering 1 billion ton select club, joining Chinese, Russian and US railways. This year, the originating freight loading is estimated to be 1,007 million tons, about 38 million tons more than 2011-12. The initiatives taken to become a major heavy haul carrier include running of long haul trains, which has enabled us to join another select club of railways, which run freight trains of more than 10,000 tons load. As a part of this initiative, 49 long loops that could hold 1.5 kilometer long trains have been sanctioned this year, besides large-scale induction of distributed power systems to mitigate capacity constraints and improve wagon utilization. Dedicated freight corridors. The first major civil construction contract on the 343-kilometer Kanpur-Khurja section of the Eastern Corridor has already been awarded, and by the end of 2013-14, construction contract to cover up 1,500 kilometers on the 2 corridors would be awarded and the work started. Providing need-based rail connectivity to border areas is uppermost on Railways' agenda. The national project of Udhampur, Srinagar, Baramulla and other projects of strategic importance will be taken up on top priority. For the first time, the state of Arunachal Pradesh has been brought into the rail network, and we shall commission the Harmuttu-Naharlagun line this year. I am also happy to inform that works on the new line railway project to connect state of Manipur are in full swing. We are also fast-tracking the gauge conversion works on Lamding-Silchar and Rangia-Murkong-Silik sections. In view of the recommendations of the parliamentary committees and demands from various border states, I will pursue for approval of certain projects identified as being of national importance, namely Bilaspur, Manali Leh, Jammu Poonch Akhnur, Tankapur Bageshwar and Parsuram Kund Rupai. I also propose to take up a new line between Firozpur and Patti for providing direct link between border areas of Firozpur and Amritsar Atari. Public-private partnerships. An ambitious target of ₹1 lakh crore has been set to attract investment through PPP route during the 12th plan. This is a challenging area for the Indian Railways, considering the capital-intensive, long gestation nature of railway projects and limited success achieved so far. Elevated rail corridor in Mumbai, parts of the DFC, redevelopment of stations, power generation or energy-saving projects, freight terminals are areas proposed for private investment during the 12th plan period. Cooperation of state governments is also being sought to provide momentum to these initiatives. A target of rupees 1,000 crores each is proposed to be fixed for Rail Land Development Authority and the Indian Railways Station Development Corporation in 2013-14. The recently revamped participative policy enabling partnership with ports, large mines, industry and investors addresses the specific concerns of the private investors. The models seek to create a win-win situation by ensuring payback of investment mainly through freight apportionment. An investment of up to rupees 9,000 crores is expected under these projects, including rupees 3,800 crores for port connectivity projects, rupees 4,000 crores for coal mine connectivity, and rupees 800 crores for iron ore mines connectivity improvements. FOBs. Some of the honourable members have requested for construction of foot-over bridges across stations. While this does not form part of the existing scheme of things, I assure the August House that railways would be happy to become partners in such projects with the state governments. Accordingly, a scheme for funding construction of FOBs across stations is being firmed up. Rail-based industries, to meet the increasing demand, reduce dependence on imports, and to generate employment opportunities, the following new manufacturing or maintenance facilities are proposed to be set up. 1. A new forged wheel factory at Raebareli, for which an MOU has been signed with the Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited. A greenfield mainline electrical multiple units MEMU manufacturing facility at Bhilwara, Rajasthan, in collaboration with state government and Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. A coach manufacturing unit in Sonipat district in Haryana in collaboration with the state government. A midlife rehabilitation workshop at Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh in collaboration with the state government. Conversion of Bikaner and Pratapgarh workshops to undertake periodical overhaul of wagons. Workshop for repair and rehabilitation of motorized bogies at Miss Road, Madhya Pradesh. A new wagon maintenance workshop in Kalahandi district, Odisha. A modern signalling equipment facility at Chandigarh through PPP route. A tower card repair workshop at Behrampur. As regards setting up of new coach factories at Palakkad and Kolar and a wagon factory in Ganjam district of Odisha, we are in consultation with the respective state governments. I am hopeful of early commencement of work. Railways production unit have contributed immensely to the growth of organization by ensuring, please wait, for supply of rolling stock using improved technology. All of them achieved the production targets in 2011-12. Let me complete.
What are you doing?
Ma'am, I intend to institute a special drive during the year to take up disposal of scrap lying in store depots, workshop along the track and at construction sites. A target of rupees 4,500 crores has been set up for 2013-14. Let me complete. Green energy initiatives. Ma'am, railways remain firmly committed to protecting the environment and promoting sustainable development and use of energy efficient technologies. Some of new steps that have been taken or are proposed to be taken include setting up of railway energy management company to harness potential of solar and wind energy, setting up of 75 megawatt windmill plants and energizing 1,000 level crossings with solar power, encourage more uses of agro-based and recycled paper and ban use of plastics in catering. Staff. The tradition of healthy and harmonious industrial relations across the length and breadth of Indian Railways was ensured during the year by active participation of labour unions and officers' associations in decision-making processes at all levels of the management. This strong tradition continues to nurture this vast organization and help in discharging its national duty. 14 lakh employees constitute our most valuable assets. It is with both pride and humility that I look at myself as head of this mammoth organization, which has given so much to the nation and touches the life of each one of us. Some of the measures I propose to take for their welfare are concerted efforts to fill up approximately 1.52 lakh vacancies this year. For the first time, the railway recruitment examinations were held at more than 60 cities across the country. In the process, a backlog of 47,000 vacancies earmarked for weaker sections and physically challenged is likely to get cleared. Construction of staff quarters has been hampered by funding constraints. Encouraged by the success of the Ministry of Urban Development in constructing quarters through PPP mode, I propose to adopt the same in the railways. Yet I have enhanced fund allocation under staff quarters by 50% over previous year to provide rupees 300 crores. Provision of hostel facilities for single women railway employees at all divisional headquarters. Extending the treatment facility in case of medical emergency to RELHS beneficiaries to all cities where hospitals are empaneled either with the CGHS or with railways. Condition of barracks would be improved to provide better living conditions to personnel of RPF. It is proposed to air condition the locomotive cabs and to provide water closets there. Skill development. With a view to contributing to the National Skill Development Program of the Government, Ministry of Railways would impart skills to the youth in railway-related trades in 25 locations spread across the length and breadth of the country. These locations are Agartala, Alwar, Ankleshwar, Chandigarh, Dehradun, Dimapur, Imphal, Jagdalpur, Jais, Katihar, Kazipet, Kollam, Koraput, Lamding, Bangalore, Murshidabad, Nagpur, Naharlagun, Pathankot, Ranchi, Ratlam, Shimla, Sarsa, Srinagar and Tiruchirappalli. I propose to set up a multidisciplinary training institute at Nagpur for imparting training in rail-related electronic technologies. Madam Speaker, Kautalya counseled all undertakings depend upon finance. Hence, foremost attention shall be paid to the Treasury. The officers of Indian Railways responsible for professional management of finances and accounts have to be endowed with structural and professional training in contemporary areas and equipped with necessary skills on a regular basis. This will enable them to face emerging challenges and tap opportunities for strengthening the finances of the organization. With this in view, I am happy to announce the setting up of an exclusive centralized training institute at Sikandrabad, Indian Railways Institute of Financial Management. Railways is a fascinating organization. In order to motivate students to study and undertake research on rail-related issues at MPhil and PhD levels, I propose to institute 5 fellowships in national universities. The fellowship will carry an appropriate stipend. I also propose to set up a chair at TERI to promote railway-related research to reduce our carbon footprint. Ma'am, railways continue to excel in sports. In the London Summer Olympics in 2012, Sushil Kumar won second consecutive medal in Olympics. In the current year, railway teams have already won 9 national championships, and the Railway Sports Promotion Board has rightfully been awarded the Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar 2012. It has been decided that recipients of Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Award and Dhyan Chand Award shall be provided facility of complimentary card passes valid for travel by first class and second AC. Also, complimentary card passes being issued to Olympic medalists and Dronacharya awardees shall be valid for travel in Rajdhani and Shatabdi trains, as in the case of Arjuna awardees. Travel by Duronto trains shall also be permitted on all card passes issued to sports persons who have the facility of travel by Rajdhani and Shatabdi trains. Our brave and valiant soldiers make immense sacrifices to defend our borders. As a humble token of Indian Railways gratitude, I have decided to extend the facility of complimentary card pass valid in first class and second AC to the parents of unmarried posthumous awardees of Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra, Kirti Chakra and Shaurya Chakra. I am also extending this facility to parents of unmarried posthumous awardees of President's Police Medal for Gallantry and Police Medal for Gallantry. I also wish to announce that Railway Gallantry awardees shall now be extended the facility of 1 complimentary pass every year for travel along with 1 companion in second AC in Rajdhani and Shatabdi trains. Presently, freedom fighters are required to renew their passes every year. This causes inconvenience to many of them in an advanced age. I have therefore decided to raise this requirement of renewal to 3 years. Rail heritage. Mountain railways of India are the World Heritage Sites, placing India in an exclusive club of nations that include only Switzerland and Austria. We are truly proud of this and are committed to take measures to preserve them in good shape and health. National Rail Museum, New Delhi, is a premier institution holding a large number of priceless rail exhibits. It showcases Indian Railways history and its evolution. The museum has come to acquire a prominent place in the Delhi tourist map. To provide a memorable experience to the visitors, especially the children, a revamped plan will be rolled out in 2013-14. Financial discipline. Madam Speaker, apt is the saying, money saved is money earned. Austerity and economy in expenditure will be observed by the railways rigorously, and no wastages will be permitted. I would like to inform the August House of some measures taken or proposed to be taken for enforcing strict financial discipline. 1. Taking note of the fact that progress on works approved in successive railway budgets and through supplementary demands for grants in the past few years had been slow, primarily on account of resource constraints. It was recognized that this defeats the very purpose of taking vote on out-of-turn basis rather than in the regular budget. Consequently, for the first time in the last 25 years, railways did not present any supplementary demands for grants either in monsoon session or winter session of Parliament in 2012. The railways were compelled to seek a special loan of rupees 3,000 crore from the Ministry of Finance during 11-12. I am happy to report that the entire amount of loan, along with interest, has been repaid in the current financial year. For the first time, 347 ongoing projects have been identified as priority projects and provided committed funding. We intend to ensure funding of these projects at required level during the 12th plan, so as to complete them in a time-bound manner. It is important that railways start reaping benefits on their investments at the earliest. the thin spread of scarce resources can be overcome only in this manner. I trust that the House will appreciate this compulsion and support our proposal. For practical and realistic targets, it would require a judicious mix of strategies, including liberal funding of last-mile projects and operationally important projects, including the dedicated freight corridors. To create a corpus for meeting Indian Railways' committed liabilities for debt servicing of JICA and World Bank loans taken for the dedicated freight corridor project, it is proposed to set up a new debt service fund. Targets for eliminating efficiencies in the maintenance of rolling stock and fuel consumption are being made more stringent. For these, I seek the support of the House. ना बहारों से बात करनी है, ना चांद तारों की बात करनी है, गहरे दरिया को पार करना है तो किनारों की बात करनी है. I can assure the August House that the measures taken will help the railways to close the current fiscal with positive fund balances as against deficit closure during the last 2 successive years. However, the road ahead is long with many a winding turn. The fund balances need to be rebuilt to a reasonable level of at least 30,000 crore by the end of 12th plan, after meeting the internal resource target of rupees 1.05 lakh crore for planned expenditure. Review of financial performance 2012-13. Ma'am, Railways freight performance is based on a derived demand. There has been a slower growth in freight loading than expected at the beginning of the year, and accordingly, Railway had no option but to scale down the budget target of 1,025 metric tons to 107 metric tons, though it still reflects, as I said earlier, an increase of 30 metric tons over 2011-12. The freight earnings targeted has also been adjusted to rupees 85,976 crore from the budget estimates of 89,339 crore, a reduction of rupees 3,383 crore. Considering the partial rollback of passenger increase mitigated somewhat by the subsequent fare adjustment in January 2013, the revised passenger earnings target is proposed at rupees 32,500 crore, that is a reduction of 3,573 crore over BE 2012-13. I am keeping the gross traffic receipts at rupees 1,25,680 crore in the revised estimates as against the BE of rupees 1,32,552 crore. Despite increase in costs and revision of energy charges, the provision under ordinary working expenses has been retained at the BG level of rupees 84,400 in RE. With increase in appropriation to pension fund from rupees 18,500 to 20,000 crores, necessitated by increase in pensionary benefits and the number of pensioners, the net revenue is estimated to reduce by rupees 6,484 crore. The planned investment during the year has also been adjusted from rupees 60,100 crore to rupees 52,265 crore. I am happy to report to the August House that as a result of our consistent efforts at maintaining strict financial discipline during the year, the operating ratio is estimated at 88.8%. This is a source of great satisfaction, as the operating ratio has consistently been over 90% since 1997-98. The only exception was during the 3 years from 2005-6 to 2007-8, the period immediately preceding the implementation of 6th Pay Commission recommendations. I take this opportunity to thank the Railway Convention Committee for lowering the rate of dividend from 5% to 4%, thus providing a relief of about 715 crores. I also thank the Honorable Finance Minister for his understanding and consideration. But I do believe that one day railways shall find ways to reduce dependence on GBS to finance its infrastructural projects. दरख्त पर बैठे परिंदे को गिरने का भय नहीं, इसलिए नहीं कि शाखा मजबूत है, विश्वास है उसे खुद के पंखों पर। A bird sitting on a tree has no fear of falling, not because of the strength of the branch, but because of the faith in its own wings. Ma'am, I shall now deal with the budget estimate for 2013-14. With the current estimates of growth of national GDP, I have kept a target of 1,047 million tons of revenue earning originating traffic during 2013-14, which is about 40 million tons more than the current year. The freight earning target has accordingly been set at rupees 93,554 crore, a growth of 9%. The number of passengers is expected to increase by 5.2%, and the earning target has been kept at rupees 42,210 crores. Factoring in the impact of expected growth of 11%, 10% in other coaching and sundry earnings, respectively, the gross traffic receipts are expected to be rupees 1,43,742 crores, an increase of rupees 18,064 crores over the revised estimate for 12-13. Ordinary working expenses have been fixed at 96,500 crores, that is 14% higher than the current year, and appropriation to the pension fund at rupees 22,000 crores. Based on the likely requirement of planned resources for renewals and replacement of railways assets, the appropriation to depreciation reserve fund has been kept at rupees 7,500 crores. The excess left after payment of dividend calculated at 4% would be appropriated to development fund, that is rupees 3,550 crores, capital investment fund rupees 5,434 crore, and the newly created debt service fund rupees 4,163 crore. The operating ratio is expected to improve to 87.8% from the revised estimate of 88.8%. We expect to close the year 2013-14 with a balance of rupees 12,506 crore in the railway funds. Annual Plan 2013-14. Madam Speaker, the Annual Plan 2013-14 has to be integrated with the broad objectives and targets set for the 12th Plan. Yet we must be realistic in setting targets in the Annual Plan 2013-14, even if it means that railways would be faced with a stiffer challenge of enhancing investment during the remaining 3 years of the 12th Plan. A planned investment of rupees 63,363 crore is proposed for 2013-14. The plan is proposed to be financed through GBS of rupees 26,000 crores, railway shares in road safety fund of rupees 2,000 crore, internal resources of rupees 14,260 crores, market borrowings of rupees 15,103 crore, and an expected mobilization of rupees 600 crores through the PPP route. The thrust of the plan is on doubling of tracks, safety, and passenger and staff welfare, for which I have increased the outlay from about rupees 11,410 crores in 2012-13 to rupees 13,220 crores, an increase of 16%. I would also like to thank the Minister of Rural Development for agreeing to the request of railways to partner in some of the railway-related activities under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA. Passenger fares. Madam Speaker, looking to the key role played by the railways in meeting transportation needs of the people, any rise in passenger fares is not and should not be viewed as a measure for profit generation. If the fares remain at a level far below the cost of operations, the railways are bound to find it hard to provide safe, clean and comfortable journey to the travelling public. A modest annual increase of 5 to 6% in the fares over a period of say 10 years can provide about 6 lakh crore by 1 lakh crore by way of additional resources, which can substantially finance internal generation component of throw forward of about rupees 75,000 crore and give additional benefit to the travelling public by way of improvement in services. It is only a financially strong organization that can deliver better services and discharge its social responsibility effectively. The UPA government is sensitive to the needs of the people, and it was after wide consultation and deliberations that some revision was effected in fares from 22nd January 2013. The revision is expected to realize additional rupees 6,600 crores in 2013-14. Fuel adjustment component. However, subsequent increase in the rates of HSD oil in January 2013 itself has added rupees 3,300 crore to the fuel bill of railways, taking away a substantial portion of the additional resources targeted. Besides, electricity tariffs are also revised periodically. The increase in fuel bill during 2013-14 on account of these revisions in 2012-13 alone would be more than rupees 5,100 crore. In the light of deregulation of HSD oil, railways finances need to be rationally insulated, and to this end, a mechanism to neutralize the impact of fuel prices on operating expenses is required to be put in place. In the budget 2012-13, my learned predecessor had proposed to segregate fuel component in tariffs as FAC, that is fuel adjustment component. As then suggested, I propose that this component be dynamic in nature and change in either direction with a change in fuel cost, say twice a year. It is proposed to implement the FAC-linked revision in only freight tariff from 1st April 2013. It will translate to about or a little less than 5% average increase for freight. As regards passenger fares, since these were revised only in January this year, I do not intend to pass on the additional burden to them now, as railways will absorb the impact of rupees 850 crores on this account. There are a number of charges which have not been revised for the last several years. These charges are in the form of compensation for costs actually incurred by railways in rendering relevant services. I propose to effect marginal increase in some of these. These include supplementary charge for superfast trains, reservation fee, clerkage charge, cancellation charge, and tatkal charge. However, I propose to abolish the concept of enhanced reservation fee with a view to simplify the fee structure, having already discontinued development charge in January this year. Ma'am, my predecessor had mentioned the need for setting up of an independent rail tariff authority while presenting the budget for 2012-13. A proposal in this regard has been formulated and is at an interministerial consultation stage. In 2010-11 and 2011-12, railways completed 709 kilometers and 727 kilometers respectively of new lines. However, during 12-13, emphasis was laid on capacity enhancement works like doubling, traffic facilities, etc. The target of 700 kilometers of new lines in the current year had to be scaled down to 470 kilometers due to inadequate resources. The sections which have either been completed or are planned to be completed during 2012-13 are listed at Annexure 1. The target of 800 kilometers of gauge conversion fixed for 2012-13 has also been scaled down to 575 kilometers. The sections which have either been completed or are slated to be completed during 12-13 are listed at Annexure 2. I am happy to report that the target of 700 kilometers of doubling will be marginally exceeded during 2012-13. Sections which have either been completed or are scheduled for completion during 2012-13 are listed at Annexure 3. Railways will complete electrification of 1,200 kilometers this year. The sections which have been completed or are likely to be completed in 2012-13 are listed at Annexure 4. Metropolitan Transport Project. Construction of metro system in Kolkata from Damdam to Noapara is scheduled to be completed by March 2013. The construction of East-West Corridor in Kolkata, which is underway, will be taken forward. Works on the Mumbai Urban Transport Project Phase 2, announced in the last budget, are also progressing satisfactorily. I am happy to inform the August House that the first AC, Electrical Multiple Unit, EMU rake, will be introduced in Mumbai, on Mumbai Suburban Network in 2013-14. In order to meet the growing demand, 72 additional services in Mumbai and 18 in Kolkata are being introduced. Besides, rake length is being increased from 9 cars to 12 cars for 80 services in Kolkata and 30 services in Chennai. Targets for 2013-14. A target to complete 500 km of new lines has been set for 13-14. A list of sections proposed to be completed during the year is at Annexure 5. It is targeted to convert 450 kilometers of meter gauge, narrow gauge lines to broad gauge during 2014-13. 13-14, the sections are given in Annexure 6. The target for doubling has been increased to 750 kilometers for 2013-14. The sections proposed to be completed in 2013-14 are given in Annexure 7. I also wish to announce resumption of work on new line projects of Chikmagalur, Sakleshpur and Bengaluru, Satyamangalam, which were pending for want of resources and other mandatory clearances after state government of Karnataka agreed to give land free of cost and bear 50% of the cost. As we have seen, trains to various religious destinations are always overcrowded. To facilitate pilgrims' journeys, I have decided to add more trains to these places. Amongst the 5 Sikh Takhats, it is only Takhat Shri Damdama Sahib at Talwandi Sabo which is not connected by a rail link. I therefore propose to take up construction of railway line from Rama Mandi to Maud Mandi via Talwandi Sabo to provide this link. New projects. I propose to take up following new projects in 2013-14. New line Budhyopur, Raigad, Mand Colliery through PPP, Gevra Road, Pendra Road through PPP, Jaisalmer, Thiat, Hamira, Sanu, Karakal, Peralam, Rewadi Rohtak new line extension up to Makrawli, Sultanpur to Kadipur, Tanjavur to Pattukotai. Gauge conversion of Mavli Badri, Badi Sadri section. Doubling Alwar, Bandikui, Chennai Central Basin Bridge, Junction, 5th and 6th lines, Dania Ranchi Road, Dappar Chandigarh, Garwa Road, Rama, Hajipur, Ramdialu, Jarang D, Dania, Palanpur, Samkhyali, through PPP, Raebareli, Amethi, Vatwa, Ahmedabad, 3rd line. Electrification. Delhi, Sarai Rohila, Rewadi, Palanpur, Ahmedabad, including Kalol, Gandhinagar, Khodiar, and Alwar, Bandikui, Jaipura, Phulera. Jakhal Hisar, Jakhal Dhuri, Ludhiana, Rajpura Dhuri, Lehra Mohabbat, Singapore Road, Daman Jodi, Katwa, Azimganj, New Farakka, and Azimganj, Narhatti. I have been receiving representations from honorable members, state governments, and other public representatives in large numbers for construction of new lines, gauge conversion, doubling and electrification, as also for surveys. I have been pondering over them for the last 1 month. They are all genuine and reflect the growing need and demand of the most preferred mode of transport of the people in the country. I would sincerely wish to take up all those projects, but am severely constrained for the reasons submitted earlier. Given this conspectus, despite the resource crunch, I propose to take up 22 projects of new lines and 1 gauge conversion on socio-economic consideration and 1 doubling project after obtaining necessary approvals, clearances. These are Ajmer Kota, Nasirabad, Jalindri, Anandnagar, Gugli via Maharajganj, Badvi, Chirmiri, Chikbalapur, गौरी बिदनपुर, चिकबल्लापुर, पुटेपुर्थी श्री सत्य साई निलयम, चोला बुलंदशहर, कुंभम पोदातुर, दिल्ली सोहाना नूह फिरोजपुर झिलका अलवर, दीमापुर तिजिट, फैजाबाद लालगंज वाया अकबरगंज महराजगंज एंड रायबरेली, फिरोजपुर पट्टी, गडक बडी, हिसार सरसा वाया अग्रोहा एंड फतेहाबाद, कपिल वस्तु बस्ती वाया बंसी, कोंडापली, कोठागोडेम, मनु गुरु रामागुंडम, पीर पेंटी जसीदी, पुष्कर मर्टा, रायपुर झरसुगुडा, श्रीनिवासपुरा मदनपल्ली, श्री प्रेम्बुदुर, गुडवनचेरी with spur to Irun, Kotu-Kotai, Avdi, Yamunanagar, Chandigarh via Sadhaura, Narayangarh, gauge conversion Nagpur, Nagbir. I will request state governments to participate in these projects, doubling new Bungaigaon to Kamakya via Rangia to meet the persistent demand of the people of Uttarakhand for a direct connectivity between Rishikesh and Doiwala, as also to avoid an alignment passing through a reserve forest with large elephant population. I propose to provide a bypass line at Raiwala, which will establish this direct link. Surveys. I propose to undertake the following surveys during 2013-14. New lines, Allur, Nagarcoil, Petikulam.
All right, so that's the Railway Minister Pawan Kumar Bansal, who's just presented, or rather laid on the floor of the House, the railway budget for the financial year 2013-2014 now.